Hello there, and welcome. Monday. So, if you have a frozen turkey you're planning to cook, you better have it. If it's still frozen, take it out right now. You're going to have to take it out and thaw it. You can thaw it in the refrigerator, or you can take it out and thaw it for a while in the open air and then put it back in the refrigerator. But if you're working with frozen turkey, it takes forever for them to thaw. So, God help you. I just have to say that to start us off. The second thing I want to recommend, if you're hosting Thanksgiving, whether it's for 4 or 40, Monday is the day to set aside a little time to pamper yourself. Arrange a little time to do your nails or to take a tub bath, to get your hair done, something like that on Monday, because if you're hosting, that's hard work. That's a pressure situation. And it'll help you enjoy it more if you've been a little bit pampered during the week. You feel a sort of luxury and delight in what you're getting to do, because really hosting is an incredible blessing, but it's also a lot of work. It's work. It takes work to do this. It just doesn't happen like a whim. For me, there are certain things I do on Monday that I do because that's the best day to do them. The first thing is, of course, I have to shop today because I use fresh, not frozen turkeys, and I brine them for at least 24 hours and then dry them until I roast them. So it is a lengthy two-step process to get the turkeys to the state they need to be for me, the way I like them, and it has to start today. So the shopping has to go today. And of course, I absolutely recommend taking a list, because you're probably going to need to be buying some things you don't usually buy, because you're going to be making things you don't usually make. So I recommend definitely, if you're going to do the shopping at all this week, do it Monday. Do it today. If you're seeing this late and you can't go shopping on Monday, if you're going to go shopping on Tuesday or Wednesday, go early. Go in the morning before lunch. The lines are far shorter. There's far fewer people in the store. Once you get to noon on Tuesday or Wednesday or even Thursday, believe it or not, the stores are crazy. So I recommend avoiding the stores if you can on Thursday completely. Just do the home thing on Thursday. And if you have to go on Wednesday or Tuesday, go in the morning. What I do today is I set up the way service is going to work on the Monday. I get the dishes out that I'm going to use both for service and for the actual eating. And if you use paper plates and plastic silver, no judgment. If you use real plates and real flatware, no judgment. I do both, actually. I find that the plates and real flatware work best for the main dishes of the buffet because they're fairly heavy dishes. I have ham and turkey, and they both take a little bit of strength to work with, and so a real plate will work better. And of course, we have lots of food, so we have things like potatoes and dressing and rolls and sides of all sorts, all different kinds of dishes of vegetables and salads and stuff like that. And so that main plate is going to do a lot of work, so I like to use actual ceramic dishes. And I use metal flatware and cloth napkins for the main part of the meal. Today I'll be wrapping the silver. I like to go ahead and put the plates out on the tables the day before. I like to have the silver there already. And I set up 3 different areas. I set a main buffet area, and then I have a desserts table, and I have a drinks table, and they're in significantly different places than the main buffet. Now, that's partly because of my house. My house has rooms. It's not an open concept house like a lot of newer houses. The main part was built in 1898, so I have a kitchen, a laundry room, a dining room, a sunroom. I have rooms. So I can have these areas very distinct, and in a way it's nice because people can have private conversations that I'm not even aware of in other rooms. So what I do is I plan a buffet, but I put the plates on the tables with the rolled silver next to them, And I allow people to serve themselves their drinks before the meal begins, before even the prayer. And I serve the meal at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We don't do the evening meal because we have people who travel in for the day and then leave. And so it's better to have the meal in the middle of the day because they can travel, they can start back home while it's still light if they need to. So, I set up, I review in my mind how the traffic's going to flow and how it's going to be served. Because I want to really, in my mind, see how it's going to work. And I also think that having an idea about what you need helps the day go better when the day arrives. So, for example, there have been years when I didn't have hot plates, trivets and stuff like that out so people can put hot dishes on them on the table. And one year, one of my tablecloths that I like to use, it's a good tablecloth, got a little singed because of that. So I make sure I have those heat resistant things on the table. I also make sure I get the serving spoons out and have extra serving spoons out so that when people come, if they don't have a serving spoon for their dish, it's there. And of course serving spoons for the things that I'm going to serve, the gravy, the potatoes, the rolls, the dressing, the forks for the meat, that kind of stuff. I also strongly suggest the drinks at a different table because that way you can treat the drinks as something they can start the minute they come in. It's something they can get right away. And I really don't have potent potables out because I come from teetotalers, but I'm not a teetotaler. So if somebody brings wine, they can open it right away. I have wine openers, and I do usually have a little wine set aside or a little even something more potent on the side. If people want to have it, they can serve themselves. They know where it is. My house is very much a you know where it is, get it yourself kind of house. And that certainly holds true for the big family dinner. The last thing I will definitely suggest you get while you're shopping, if you haven't done it yet, is leftover dishes. So I get compostable leftover boxes so that people can take stuff with them at the end of the meal if we have a lot of extra. And that way I don't end up having to waste anything that I've made. It goes, and we get a little something from the potluck quality. So I do the main dishes, and then the family brings their favorite sides or desserts. I do a pumpkin pie always now, and I'll have probably one other pie, or I might do pecan tasties. It just depends. So that's the big thing today, is getting everything sort of arranged. Now, I told you on Saturday, don't expect to clean this week. But of course, we're going to all break that rule. There's going to be some cleaning that goes on. I even mentioned that I'm going to mop on Wednesday night before I go to bed. That's going to happen. But you want your main focus to be on the actual service now. You want to really pay attention to how it's going to go out and what you're going to serve. I've already made my cranberry sauce. That's like jelly, so it can last a long time. It doesn't have to be fresh. It's still delicious. I put a little bourbon in mine, just so you know. So tomorrow I'll talk a little bit about how I prep the vegetables and everything for my dishes and make some suggestions about what you might try. I'm trying something new this year, and I'm going to share with you how that goes too. I hope you have a glorious rest of the day, and I hope you see me again, you gorgeous people.